I'm just a fucked up girl who's looking for my own peace of mind.
Hello, my dudes. Welcome back. I hope you're all hanging in there during these wild times. Not a lot going on in the movie world right now, but there is a lot going on in the streaming world. So today I'm going to talk about the Netflix show Hollywood. Hollywood is a 7-episode Netflix miniseries created by Ryan Murphy and Ian Brennan. I am a huge fan of Ryan Murphy, who made several of my favorite shows, including American Horror Story, American Crime Story, Scream Queens, Glee, which are all perfect and have absolutely no flaws.
You might think that all the boys in school would totally want to tap this, but my MySpace schedule keeps me way too busy to date.
Not a single flaw. Despite a few hit or miss seasons, I do love his work, and I was excited to see a new story from him and Ian Brennan, who also worked on Glee and Scream Queens with Murphy. So I was excited about that, okay? I was excited. I was ready for some Murphy in my life. The show stars Spider-Man's prom date, dollar store Henry Cavill, the 2019 hide-and-seek champion, Blaine Anderson, and these two guys who I've never seen before, but I would absolutely die for. It also stars my future husband, Dylan McDermott, Joe Mantello, Holland Taylor, Jim Parsons, Patti LuPone, and I could go on because this is a star-studded cast, if I've ever seen one. So the story is about a group of aspiring actors and filmmakers in 1950s Hollywood who are trying desperately to climb their way to the top of Hollywood. Pun very much intended. And they just want to make their mark on the world. They want to do something great. They want to be somebody. So the plot revolves around this one film that they're trying to make, and the whole story is kind of the production and the struggles of getting this film done and in front of an audience. But it turns into more than just a film because it was written by an African-American man, it stars an African-American woman, it's directed by a half Filipino man, and it basically just breaks all of the laws of mainstream filmmaking during this time. I will say the show kind of took me a while to get into it, and it takes a few episodes to really find its footing. And I've noticed this is sort of a pattern with Ryan Murphy's works, aside from Glee, which is absolutely perfect in every way, and then it slowly sinks as the seasons go by like a sad burning ship that you can't look away from. So I tried to just trust it and hope it would get better, which for the most part, it did. I really love the message of this show, and we're in this kind of weird time in the entertainment industry right now where everyone, storytellers, writers, directors, production houses, are all trying to shove their agendas down our throats, and I know a lot of you are really sick of that. I'm kind of sick of it because a lot of the time it's just for the sake of doing that and not for the sake of telling a good story. I think this show does tell a good story, and I think it does a good job of telling that good story without the message and the metaphor being forced. It kind of lingers on that line where it feels like it could almost go there, but I don't think it ever does, and it never really bothered me. And I think for the most part, the message and the story and the way they were working with each other worked really well. Historically, representation in film was not really a thing until very recently, so setting the film in this post-World War II Hollywood was kind of a brilliant way to tell that story because it makes sense there, and it feels historical and accurate, even if it's a made-up story. It's sort of like a retelling of history, and I really love stories like that. And it's not only about representation, but it's also about generally just like the struggles of making it in Hollywood, the real nitty-gritty of what many people have to go through, and how corrupt the entire industry is. And I realize that may not seem like a very relatable experience for most people, but on the surface level, it's really just about a group of young people. My throat, I've got the coronas. On the surface level, it's just about a group of young people who are following their dreams. And it's not really any deeper than that, and that's why it really resonated with me. You know, like struggling in 1950s Hollywood is not a problem that I can relate to, but I can relate to trying to follow your dreams and trying to be somebody and trying to make it in this fucked up world. And I don't know, it just like really resonated with me, and I loved that.
I love it.
However, I don't think it was until about episode 5 or maybe even 6 that I really started to like the show a lot. Really started to love the show. I kind of liked it the whole time. It was one of those like, I'll put it on because I like Ryan Murphy. Watched the first episode, I was like, I got nothing else to do, let's watch the next one. And then I just kind of let Netflix like autoplay. I binged the whole show in like, I think I watched the first episode one day, and then the next day I watched all the rest. So I was kind of on autopilot. It was just like, yeah, sure, let's do the next one. Yeah, sure. I was never like, I need it, until the 5th or 6th episode when I got really invested in these characters. So it was definitely a slow burn. And maybe that's too slow of a burn for most people, but I have nothing else going on right now, so I had time to waste. I think the thing that really kept me going was how much I loved these characters and this cast and the chemistry that they have. And you watch them struggle in every single episode. You watch them get up and then get knocked down over and over again. And you start to really care about this film that they're making pretty much as they do. So when they lose, you feel it in your gut. When they win, you want to jump up and down and scream. Like, I just rooted for these characters and their passion so much. I will say, it isn't a perfect show. Like I said, it takes a while to find its footing, and at times I did kind of feel like I was being bashed over the head with the message, at least at the start of it, but it was tied up in this really nice, compelling story. And so I didn't really mind it that much because I just really liked the story so much. I think the only thing that really irked me was how many times they were talking about Hollywood and they would call it this town. Like, it started to feel a little hokey and like it was a joke or something. Like, they said it so many times, like, that's how you gotta make it in this town. That's how people are in this town. Gotta love this town. And I was just like, I get it, you're in a town. Like, it was almost comical. I think you could probably turn it into a drinking game. Like, drink every time someone says, this town, drink every time someone says, people like us, and drink every time you have sexual fantasies about Dylan McDermott. Please don't actually do this because I don't want to be responsible for you dying of alcohol poisoning. All in all seriousness, I think Hollywood was a unique and compelling story. I love that it's a short miniseries that's wrapped up completely by the end, not really in a good mindset for a stressful cliffhanger. It did have a slow start, but it also somehow kept me wanting more, and it left me feeling emotionally satisfied. I laughed, I cried, I felt immensely. It just kind of gave me everything that I wanted in a show right now, everything I didn't even realize that I wanted. It's like heavy, but also not that heavy. You know, it doesn't feel overall very heavy. It's kind of light, and it left me feeling good. It left me feeling better than I did when I started it. And I guess that's the point of why we watch things, right? So with that said, I'm going to give Hollywood a 4 out of 5. So that's it. Let me know if you guys watched Hollywood in the comments below. Tell me what you thought about it. Did you like it? Did you hate it? I've heard a lot of mixed reviews from people, and I don't know that many people who have watched it. So I'm curious to hear what you think if you have. And if you haven't watched it, let me know in the comments what you have been watching. What's the most recent thing that you watched and liked? But that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm sorry it's been a while since I posted. Times are kind of stressful right now, and it was hard for me to find motivation to make something and to get back in the game. But I have a lot of stuff coming out. I have a few videos that I already shot that are like halfway done. Hoping to roll those out within the next few weeks. Try to get some consistency back in my life because things are falling apart. I need structure. But that's all for now. Thank you guys so much for watching this video and for coming back to my channel, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.
This is, excuse me, a damn fine cup of coffee.